Nick here, and today you will learn how to play Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion Scenario 3. You can find the other scenarios on this video's description. Setup. Open the scenario book to Scenario 3, the Black Ship. This scenario also uses the supplemental scenario book. Open on page 2 and place it next to the scenario book. Retrieve the two enemies on this scenario, the Giant Viper and the Zealot. Get their stats cards, standees, and the initiative order tokens. Set up both monsters to level 1 and set up the two Zealots in the starting room. The other rooms are closed. Keep in mind that enemies are only placed inside rooms when a door is opened. Retrieve and shuffle each of the monster's basic ability deck of cards. Place the remaining tokens as described in Scenario 2 and then read the introduction and the special rules. Stop reading before the section breaks. Note that these texts are read only once the door with the corresponding number has been opened. And now you're ready to learn how to play Scenario 3. Play the scenario using the rules learned so far, plus the rules explained next. This scenario has hexes contained within a purple border. These are called difficult terrain, which means that figures must spend 2 movement points to enter the hex. Push and pull are not affected by difficult terrain. Some of the new level 1 cards give experience points, and this is represented by this symbol. When an action is taken, the character gains the number of experience specified. Add the amount to the blue side of the character's dial. Note that some actions specifies that experience is gained only with specific conditions written on the text. Also note that basic actions never trigger the experience of the accompanying action. Some level 1 cards might also have active bonuses. Persistent bonuses are represented by this symbol. When this card is played, place it on the active area above the character. The action remains into play until the end of the scenario or their number of uses run out. Place a character token on the first slot to the left. When the token moves off the last slot, remove the card from the active area, placing it either in the lost or discard pile, depending on whether the action has the lost icon. Every time the token moves to a slot with the experience icon, the character gains that experience. Round bonuses are represented by this symbol. These cards are active from the time the action is played until the end of the round. At the end of the round, place it on the discard or lost pile, depending on whether the action contains the lost icon. Shield is an active bonus ability that allows the character to suffer less damage. The reduction is calculated after the attack bonuses and attack modifier cards are played. For example, if a 2 attack is performed against a character with a 1 shield and that attack is doubled by a modifier card to 4, then you subtract the shield from the 4 attack, bringing the damage to a total of 3. Note that multiple shield bonuses stack, but they don't affect trap damage. Jump allows the figure to bypass obstacles, enemy figures, traps, and difficult terrain, ignoring the movement penalties. Figures cannot jump through walls, and they must end on a viable hex. If the player lands on a trap, the trap is sprung. Also note that Scenario 3 monsters have new negative conditions on their stat cards. In this example, the elite version of the Zealot has one of them. These effects are applied to targets whenever the monster attacks. Give the target their respective tokens. You can find what they do in the reference card. Poison and wound can only be removed if the figure is healed. When that happens, instead of healing the value, just remove the negative condition. Figures cannot have multiple instances of poison or wound. Curse adds an extra curse card to the figure's deck, and Bless adds an extra Bless card to the deck. These cards are removed if drawn or at the end of the scenario. To wrap up the mechanics, a character can perform a long rest action instead of playing cards during the round. When you declare a long rest, your character won't do any actions this turn, and its initiative is set to 99. Contrary to a short rest where you have to draw a random discard card to place it in the lost pile, the long rest allows the character to choose the card. Also, the character performs a heal 2 self action and uprights all their spent items. Once a character reaches the door 1 and 2, read their respective breakpoints and populate the room with monsters. At the end of the scenario 3, read the conclusion. Then add sticker 4, a ritual in stone, to C2. Add any experience points earned to your character sheet, plus 6 experience points. Remove any curses and bless cards added during the scenario from the character or monster modifier decks. From now on, every time you complete a scenario, each character gets 6 experience points. If you retrieved Treasure Chest 10, search for the reward on the page 31 of the glossary book. Now grab your character sheet and choose a perk as part of the scenario's reward. Each perk allows the character to choose any one effect from the list. Check the box next to it and apply the effect to your modifier deck. If you're adding new cards, take them from the character's specified attack modifier cards. These changes are permanent. Next, shuffle the city events and draw one. Read its introductory text and the party chooses an option. Flip the card and read the corresponding outcome, then discard the card. It should never be used again. Starting now, each time you successfully complete a scenario, you must draw a city event. To wrap up scenario 3, each character should retrieve all their level 1 cards and add them to their hand, removing all level A and B cards permanently. They will never be used again. You should have the number of cards specified in the top right corner of your character's mat. Each character will have a different number of cards. And that's how you play Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion Scenario 3. You can find the links to the other scenarios on the video's description or by clicking on the link on the right. Thanks for watching and see you next time.